Okay, hi Smiley. This is Sonic, I guess. So I'm gonna read through your poem, and hopefully that will help clear up some of the confusion, because I think you feel it too. It's not quite right, but it's not the content that's wrong, because the content's lovely. I mean, you're talking about how you're going to help your mom, and it's so cute, right? So it's not a bad thing, really. But the thing is that something's off, and the reason why it's off is because of some of the technical things about your poem. Now, your poem is very it's old-fashioned, which means that there's a sort of rhyming scheme, and you stick with it for the entire thing, which is great. I mean, some of the newer poems, I'm thinking about like Sylvia Plath's Daddy, and there's tons more examples. They use rhyming in their poems, but they don't really stick with the traditional style, which is what you're trying to go for. So I'm going to ignore that kind of style. What you want to do is something kind of predictable, and in that predictability, you really want to show off your love for your mother, which is great because, you know, traditional style is really good here. So let's go look at your poem. And I'm going to read it, and hopefully that will clear up a lot of things. Do not cry, sweet mother of mine. I'll pick you up when you are down. One day, I promise, will be through the hardships. I will erase from your beautiful face this unending frown. Please wipe your tears, my beautiful mother. Do not weep in front of me. One day, I promise, you'll be happy again, filled with elation and eternal ecstasy. These terrible times won't last forever, even if you feel as though they're endless. I dream and think of the day to come when your nights are no longer so perpetually restless. And some day, when you're old and gray and have no interest to keep fighting, I'll be here to bring the sun when the day sheds torrents of rain and lightning. Okay, so, you know, it's inspirational, right? Woo! Now, what, you might have guessed is that when you're talking about traditional poetry, traditional rhyming poetry, you don't generally want to have a lilting feel, like da 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 da. So you want to have that kind of lilting feel, like you could dance to it. Do not cry, sweet mother mine, I'll pick you up when you are down. One day I promise we'll be through the hardships. I will erase from your beautiful face this unending frown. So it's not quite lilting, y'all notice that. I mean, I was kind of exaggerating it. I mean, do not, but if you do the syllables, you count the syllables. Do not cry, sweet mother of mine. So that's 8. I'll pick you up when you are down. That's 8. Okay, so that's good, right? Anyway, the next one. One day I promise we'll be through the hardships. Okay, so that's 11. So already we're getting a little bit off balance here. I will erase from your beautiful face this unending frown. So that's 15 syllables. So that's already a little bit awkward because you have 8, 8, 11, which is, you know, pushing it there. But then you have 15, and it doesn't really have that lilting feel. So you can't go, do not cry, sweet mother mine, I'll pick you up when you are down. One day I promise we'll be through the hardships then. I will erase from your beautiful face this unending frown. So there's really no lilt in that, and it's kind of making, I mean, when you read it, it kind of makes you stumble a little bit, and stumbling for the traditional poems is generally not a good thing. You want to have it as smooth as you can read it, and that way you'll be better. Also, you'll also notice that sometimes using different when you use sounds that are strong, you'll want to pair those sounds together. So do not cry, sweet. Sweet is a very, very strong sound. I mean, that E sound, that's very strong. But your next line doesn't have that E sound. So it's like, okay, where is this going? And so it's not just, when you're talking about a balancing act, it's not just the ends of the poem, like down and frown. It's not that matters with these with these traditional poems. You'll notice that if you want to get it to be good, you'll want to have it so that you'll have like consistent E sounds in one stanza and E sounds in the other, or not E sounds in one stanza, E sounds in one line and have an E sound in the other, and that will make it a little bit more off balance or on balance, balanced, and easier to read. So also one thing that you'll find that there's some words that don't really flow out right. So sometimes you'll have these big words and they won't work at all. So like filled with elation and eternal ecstasy, first of all, those are very strong sounds. You're using a bunch of E's. And it kind of works because you talk about weep in like the second line. And this, we're talking about the second stanza here. But at the same time, there's too many E's there. So you're kind of making it more off balance. So that makes it a little bit weird. But another thing you'll notice is that sometimes elation, yeah, 3 syllables. So that's a little bit of a long word. And eternal, that's 3 syllables. And ecstasy, that's 3 syllables. So already you're starting to, when you're using poetry, you want to, when you pick these longer words, you want them to make more punch. So wait, I like this poetry book. And generally you'll find that when you're talking about the, when you're talking about a poem, you want to have the longer words, make the $5 words, really. It's okay to use these $5 words. It's really okay to show off your vocabulary. But what you'll want to do is you'll want to make have the most punch in it. And you'll want to do this by keeping them kind of separated. And you want to make them really powerful words. So elation, that's a very powerful word. Ecstasy, that's a very powerful word. Eternal, very powerful word. All of them together, they become less powerful. And it's kind of like, if you have 1 candy bar, awesome. Have 10 candy bars, you start to get sick. So it's just, you really, when you really want to punch it, you want to make sure that you use it in moderation. And you'll also want to make sure that you don't go overboard. Yeah, you want to make sure it doesn't go overboard. Otherwise, it's too much. So when you use words such as perpetually restless, like perpetually is a very big word. But do you want that word to have the most impact? And I don't think you do. Because perpetually is an adjective. And you want to and by having it such a big word, that automatically puts an emphasis on it. That makes it really powerful. And you don't want to have adjectives to be those really powerful words. Because adjectives are just like the weakest kinds of words that you can have. In fact, this is an perpetually is an adverb. Wait, is it? It's an adjective. Yeah, it's an adverb describing an adjective, which makes it a really, really weak word. You want to put the stress on the adjective that the adverb is describing. So, you don't want to have perpetually, because that gives you too much of an emphasis on that huge word, perpetually. Yeah, so it's a 4-syllable word. It's a huge word. You want to make it sure that you put more emphasis on your nouns and verbs, because your nouns are what you're talking about, and what you're talking about is very, very important. Your verbs are what you're doing, and that's also very, very important, because you want to have a sense of action in your poem. Otherwise, the poem doesn't work at all. So, and for your descriptions, like the adjectives and adverbs, you don't really want to put much of an emphasis on that, because then you're, that's just a description of what you are doing, or that you are, like a noun or a verb. So you want to describe, you want to put more punch in the nouns and the verbs, and not so much as in the adjectives. So when you choose adjectives, make sure that they don't take up the entire poem, because otherwise it's not good. And they'll seem a lot more off balance, especially when you throw in these things in and you don't have that much nouns. So when you're talking about nights that are restless, that's a very powerful image. Restless, but you can make it even more powerful by shortening it up and making it restless nights. So that tells you, and you don't even have to use perpetually restless, because by saying restless nights, you're putting more emphasis on the restlessness and of the night instead of the perpetualness of it all. And if you want to make it seem like it's perpetual, then you can use a noun or a verb or something to indicate that it's perpetual. In fact, it might even be good if you can use a metaphor. That would be awesome. So what you're going to want to do as well is you're going to want to make it so that you, instead of using adjectives, you'll use metaphors. And metaphors are like, well, I don't have any examples off the top of my head because I'm kind of sleep deprived and it's not working right now. But my brain, that is, it's not working. But metaphors basically are descriptions of things that are not what they are. So I can say that my hair, which it looks brown in this light, but really in the sun it looks very gold. So I can say that my hair is flaxen, like is like spun gold. I could say my hair is spun gold and describe it that way. And it's not, really. I mean, if my hair was gold, then my head would be so heavy that it would probably fall off. So by using these images, it creates this very real atmosphere. So instead of using adjectives like, oh, well, golden hair, you can say gold, and then that would describe it using a noun, and that would make it a lot more smoother. Okay, kind of long, so let me just wrap up the critique, and hopefully this will help you. I'm not sure if it will, but I'm hoping it will, so hopefully that would be a good thing. Now, so basically, when you're writing rhyming poetry, especially the traditional type like what you have, not only is rhyming key in the ends of the poem, but it's also key within the poem, and that will give it a more balanced effect. Next thing is that you're going to make it want to lilt and have a sort of metering da 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 da. So it will have some sort of rhythm, and if it doesn't have that rhythm, then you're going to have to tweak it so it does have that rhythm, because that will make it a lot easier to say, and it will make it more powerful as well. And that might mean that you have to shorten up some lines or lengthen some lines and make it have that rhythm. Another thing is don't make your adjectives and adverbs take over the nouns and verbs of your poem. So by saying, like using words such as perpetually, I know that's the word I'm really picking on right now. But by using words like perpetually, you are making the poem weaker. So instead of using these long words to describe adjectives and adverbs, use these powerful words to describe nouns and verbs. Next thing is that instead of using a bunch of powerful words together, make it only one powerful word. And when you do this, it will be so much easier. It will be so much better to read. And I think that might be it. Alright, so I hope that helps, Smiley. And hopefully you'll really make this great poem and you'll be able to show it to your mom and she will be like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. Alright, signing off. Bye!